From the ILO's point of view, the biggest problem with the present pattern of globalization, with the pattern of growth, I would say, is the difficulty in delivering quality jobs. And we can go into all the reasons for it, but that is an issue that we have to certainly center on. And I believe that what people see is the 1,530 million people in the world that have vulnerable jobs today, and 80% of the people that have no access to social security. So the analysis is very simple. They tell me, look, they say globalization is great, but I don't see it in my own life. And we have to give a political and a policy answer to that reality, because it is out there, and this book, I think, helps us in that direction. Globally, the fundamental desire of most people is to have opportunities for decent work, which is central to the well-being and stability of individuals, families, communities, societies. Whether they have a job or not, whether the job is stable, whether it generates a decent income and rights at work, are respected, are crucial preoccupation for a normal human being in the labor market. And many are concerned that the promised job creation potential of globalization has not fully materialized. Yes, for some, not a general phenomenon, the result of globalization. At the ILO, we believe that we have the experience of the real economy. We have the business organization, the worker organizations, the social and labor part of government. We think that we understand what happens in an enterprise. And we believe that the biggest problem today is that we have forgotten that it's the real economy that makes countries grow, become stable, and become developed. It is not the growth of the financial system. And consequently, we have to confront that clearly. And in many ways, trade is a reflection of the real economy. It's a reflection of those entrepreneurs that are prepared to risk, but to risk to create an enterprise, to risk to create innovation, to develop technology, to create jobs, and to sell them internationally or locally whenever that is possible. So let me finish by saying that in our experience, and the policies that we're trying to promote internationally today imply also structural changes of the way globalization is moving if we do want different results. The first one is placing the real economy in the driver's seat of the global economy. And let me say it very frankly, we have to dislodge financial operators from the driver's seat of the global economy. There are ways of doing it. The problem is our political systems, our governments prepared to take the decisions that will say, look, in our country, in our region, in our world, we want the real economy to be the driver of the global economy through enterprise development, through investment, and through decent work creation.
We know, thanks to this research, more about the nature, the size of the effects of trade and offshoring on employment. And one of the conclusions is that globalization and offshoring may lead to higher job turnover in the short term, but that the magnitude of these effects may very well be relatively limited. In the long term, there is no indication that trade or offshoring lead to higher unemployment overall. Three challenges policymakers face in relation to this social sustainability of globalization. First, the effect of increased openness on the structure and on the levels of employment can be more or less favorable to the labor force and to economic growth. Second, openness, while certainly helping to buffer domestic shocks, can increase a vulnerability to external shocks. And third, the gains from globalization are not distributed equally, and some workers, some firms may lose in the short and even in the medium term. The simple message is that governments can take measures to give globalization a stronger social dimension. Public goods, functioning of the markets, reallocation processes, social protection, of course, education, skill development, to adjust, to change. The temptation to seek short-term gain from protectionist measures so far has been largely resisted, but the pressure on government to go protectionist will intensify with job losses. We know that. This is the result of a political process, and we have to remain extremely vigilant while spreading this important message that in today's world of global production chains, where a large part of what you export stems from imports which you have processed, shooting on your imports means shooting on your exports. And that we, in a way, are assuming protectionism could have protected jobs